Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's edition of NASCAR 07 on the channel once again, as we have a truck series race for you guys this evening. We are at the Martinsville Speedway for race number 18 of 20 of our custom schedule season, and it is coming down to the wire. We have three drivers in the hunt for the championship, ourselves driving as Todd Bodine for the season. You guys got the vote for me to run as him. Trying to beat Ron Hornaday and Bobby Hamilton Sr. Bobby Hamilton's third in points. He's only 83 out of first, but a very tight battle for first between Ron Hornaday and ourselves. Just a 19-point lead over the 33 truck of Hornaday coming into this race. I've not yet qualified. We're about to get ready here. In the first Martinsville race early in the season, we actually won that race, but we went toe-to-toe with Ron Hornaday for most of that one. It was just a 50% race. I believe it was only 100 laps. This is a full race, 250 laps on this one here today. So still a relatively short race because it is a truck race, but nevertheless, it is going to be definitely a grind to say the least. So we're going to have to qualify well, and hopefully all goes well from here on out. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We're back to the live streaming every single day on the channel, at least for the near future. I am planning on going to Chicago for the street race in about a week and a half, so I'll probably be gone for a few days for that. But as for the next week or so, hopefully you enjoy these live streams. Getting back in the groove of things, last night we returned to NASCAR 07. We ran the Busch Series race with Jimmy Johnson. If you haven't yet, check that out because it was a spur-of-the-moment stream. Be sure to tune in for that one after the end of this video. But let's get this one underway. We are going to qualify as mentioned, and hopefully we qualify well because we all know Martinsville is a very difficult racetrack to pass on. Back-to-back short tracks in our return to NASCAR 07. We ran at IRP in the Busch Series last night, and now we have another roughly half-mile racetrack at Martinsville today. Got to qualify well again. Only 19 points separates Hornaday from Bodine entering this race. No practice. Entering straight into qualifying tonight. Down into the first turn. Hugging that curve. Got to get as close to the curbing as possible without touching. A little loose. Getting back to the throttle off turn 2. Lot harsher dive going into turns 3 and 4, at least with the throttle down. Pull in lap 1, 18.999. And we're just going to run one more lap because I can. Need all the practice I can get. The flat tracks are very difficult on this game. I will say IRP, I felt like I had quite a bit of grip, especially when we ended up having that adjustment change middle of the race. It went from top 5 car to easily the best car. Hopefully tonight, starting up towards the front will help. As you see on the pole, we did pick up a little bit on lap 2, picked up about 6/100ths of a second from the first lap, but we are out in front of the field. Philip Ward, Dark Crypto, Wade Solinsky, Derek Booth, and others, welcome into the stream. And yeah, a little bit of an early start time for this one, but I think it's going to be a fun race, and hopefully everybody can tune in. Ron Hornaday did qualify in second place for this one, so we have to make sure he does not lead any laps because bonus points are of the utmost importance, especially this late in the season. The green flag is in the air. We are racing, and the duel is on between Bodine and Hornaday as they roll into turns 1 and 2, and Todd Bodine's going to be clear easily off the exit of the corner, trying to keep the 33 truck behind him as much as possible. Bobby Hamilton qualified in 5th. He's now to the inside of the 33 truck for 3rd place. Hornaday down to block off the exit of turn 4. He lost 2nd there initially, but now has a chance to try to get back into this. No adjustment changes, so hopefully we're not going to be too loose on the long run. Hornaday quickly back into 2nd place now. Long ways to go in this one, but knowing that the 33 is right there, we can't allow him to lead a single lap. Just one lap led is 5 bonus points. 10 bonus points if he can lead the most. Bodine really wanting to lead the most, on top of not letting that 33 truck in. These guys have gone head-to-head on short track races a bunch this season. They have finished 1, 2, 3 times. All 3 were on short tracks. Bristol, Martinsville, for both of those races. Bodine got the win in both of them, and that bounce off the curb kind of helped Hornaday get to the outside of the 30 that time. It's almost like I couldn't get the drive off. I hit the curb and it just kind of stalled my run back into the accelerator there. But by going to the outside and not being able to get by Todd Bodine, not only he didn't lead a lap, but he's going to lose a position, it looks. Lap 5 was quicker than the pole lap ran by Bodine by 1/1000th of a second that last time by. So Todd's definitely running some quick laps early. Looks like Bobby Hamilton's up to 3rd, Hornaday back to P4. Ooh, a little loose that time off the curbing. Got to save those rear tires so we can get that drive off later in the run. It's so hard to run that tight to the curb without touching it, lap after lap after lap. Looks like one truck has just blown a motor on the front stretch, trying to make their way into turns 3 and 4. Either that or they were very slow after contact off turn 4. I guess that might have been the case because it looks like they're at speed now, so maybe a near accident in the early going. We did have one caution in our Busch race last night at IRP. It was right at about lap 50 of 200, so this is a longer race than the Busch Series race, which is kind of odd when you consider the fact that the Truck Series races are typically a bit shorter. This one longer, despite both being 100% races. No, Kyle Busch isn't in the Truck Series in this game, which I'm actually kind of surprised. He must not have raced the Truck Series that much when he was driving for Hendrick Motorsports, I would have to assume. Probably be the case. I think he started KBM when he went to the trucks in 08, if I'm not mistaken. It could have been even a couple years after that. Bobby Hamilton trying to move into 2nd place now. Bodine trying not to get phased by those trucks behind him. Doing what I can to not use too much brakes and abuse that right front tire, especially early in the run. We don't know how long this could go. You don't want to have to pit under green at Martinsville, so you're going to see these guys try to stretch this run out as far as they possibly can. And we don't know if it's going to be a 1 or a 2 stop race today either, because that first race again was a 50% race. So we don't know how far the fuel window is in this game for the Truck Series on a full race at Martinsville Speedway. Hamilton again trying to go for 2nd. He almost got there a couple laps ago, couldn't quite do it, and again it looks like he just can't get the drive off. He actually put the bumper to that 2nd place truck, one of the fantasy drivers, in line behind Bodine. They both lost a little bit of time to the 30. Just trying to stay steady here. Again, just a 19-point lead. Could be a 3-horse race for the championship. The season finale is at Talladega. So, knowing my track record on the super speedways on the EA Sports games, I definitely don't want to risk anything. We have to get solid finishes. We are coming off a 9th place finish in the last race. 9th and 2nd the last 2 races out, so we have definitely picked up. But it's been a little bit since the last win, despite having 5 on the season. And that curb really bites me sometimes. Sometimes I can hook it, clip it, and it doesn't bounce the race truck up the track, but sometimes it does, and I just can't get back to the gas as soon because it really gets it squirrely. And when you don't have any rear wheel grip and you're trying to get back into the grass, into the gas, not the grass, the gas, it definitely makes things more difficult. Oh boy, yep, and that was a big mistake. Big mistake there, and that's exactly what I was talking about. Fighting a little bit of rear wheel grip off the exit of the corners right now for Bodine and almost lost the lead as a result. Bobby Hamilton nearly capitalized off of that. Bodine doesn't want to find out how hard it's going to be to pass anybody today until he gets to lap traffic at least. So maybe we get a caution before that. That will benefit Bodine just a little bit. And he could get through lap traffic better than everybody else, but the way things are going with the clean air right now, I don't think he wants to push the issue. Although, speaking of pushing the issue, got back in the gas too soon, ended up in the wall. Oh, he gets clipped from behind. A bump and run by Bobby Hamilton. He's not going to lead this lap at the start-finish line. Todd Bodine still got it. but the 30 gets bumped and ran on. Bobby Hamilton out to the lead. Bodine doesn't want him to lead any laps. He's going to try to slam it to the inside of Todd, and he can't do it. He hit the curb and he missed the corner. 5 bonus points for the third place driver in the standings, Bobby Hamilton Sr., after a bump and run to get to the lead on Todd Bodine. Wasting no time after getting into second place to make that move. Bodine trying to get him back. Drag race on the front stretch, fastest lap. Off the curb into the 18. Bodine did not give Todd Bodine a lot of room there. He was on the inside, and now Bodine goes up the racetrack. He just completely missed that corner. But he still wins the race back to the gas. More room that time into turns 1 and 2, and it looks like Todd Bodine is going to get back to the race lead, but he's not through. So Hamilton able to lead for about 3 laps. Todd Bodine now back out in front. And we'll see if the 18 can get in line quickly as he does in second. And we'll see if he maybe uses the bumper again. I was not expecting him to use the bumper this early in the race. Honestly, he almost drove away from me right away. It felt like it. And now there's some pressure out of nowhere, knowing that Hamilton may use the bumper at any given time again. I mean, I made a mistake twice in the couple laps leading up to that, but still, was not expecting that. And now it looks like Hamilton overdrove the corner again, so now he's having problems driving it in too deep on entry. Maybe trying to get back to the 30s bumper, I don't know, but... low entry into the corner that time. Well, defensive line. So alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in a race tonight. Very early going. Hornaday back into P2. Not sure if he used the bumper to get by Bobby Hamilton or not, but he is into second once again. And Hornaday has not led, and he's closer in the championship standings to Bodine than what Bobby Hamilton is. So this would be huge if Hornaday could lead a lap, especially with the amount of laps Todd Bodine has already led in the early going. One win on the season for both Hamilton and Hornaday, 5 for Bodine. Bodine with the most of any driver this season through the first 17 races. Hornaday way up the racetrack. He had his right side tires up into the asphalt. That's how wide he went that last time off the exit of turn 2. Didn't get to battling for second on a consistent basis. It might allow for the 30 to pull away just a little bit. Doesn't seem to be the case right now. Just cannot allow Ron Hornaday to lead. Already allowed Bobby Hamilton to lead. We saw Hamilton use the bumper to make sure he was going to get those bonus points. You never know where you're going to be later in this race, depending on how the pit sequence plays out, whether it be during a caution or during green flag conditions. You don't know what your truck is going to be like back in the traffic. So that's why Bobby Hamilton did what he did to try to get those bonus points early when he had a chance. We'll see if Hornaday will be just as desperate if he can get to the back bumper of Todd Bodine, and maybe Hornaday could be the driver that could actually drive away from Bodine. Did qualify better than Bobby Hamilton. Not really making major mistakes, really. I mean, I made a couple of minor ones early, but never lost the lead. I mean, I'll clip the curb every now and then, but for the most part, able to still handle it. Lock that left front tire up going into the corner. It's the second time that has happened.
Number 33, head to run. Want you to make a move.
$10 likes on the stream already. Appreciate that, everybody. Last night's stream, we ended up getting 25 likes, so we're going to try to beat that in tonight's stream. Slightly longer race, slightly earlier start time as well, but definitely hit that like button if you haven't done so already, and I think we can get ourselves something of an interesting finish here in this one. We had a great race last night, kind of an anticlimactic finish. This final 30 laps or so. Big time off the curb, off the track goes the 30, and Hornet to the lead. That was uncalled for, really. I mean, he hit the curb so hard, he drove Bodine into the wall. And now Bodine's struggling on the outside as he can't get back down to the bottom. Bobby Hamilton to second. Bodine shuts the door. In third place he runs. Hornet just completely used him as his brakes. I mean, he hit the curb very violently, yes, but he drove it in so flat, so deep. There was no chance he was not going to make contact with Todd Bodine. One truck just hit the curb off turn 4 and almost spun out. That was a truck right behind Bodine. Bodine trying to get back into second. So Hornaday has used the bump and run. Todd Bodine using the bump and run to the 18, who used the bump and run to get to the lead on the 30 earlier. Got some aggressive racing here in the early going, but it's all between the 3 championship competitors, so no surprise here. But that is the case. Bodine probably doesn't want to waste any time. He's going to try to return the favor. Gets into the Todd Bodine, loosens him up. But he couldn't get the drive underneath him. He was trying to move him up out of the way. He just couldn't do it in time. Oh, we did it there! Hang on now. The big fenders quite a bit that time. And they got hung up on each other. And now Hornaday sideswipes the 30, getting back down into the next corner. Oh my gosh, I can't get the drive off there. I could not get the drive off. And here comes Bill Lester out of nowhere. Where did he come from? I didn't mean to hang on him as long as I did. Hornaday crowding Todd Bodine, getting into turns 3 and 4. Off the curb, more contact between the 2 trucks. Todd Bodine and Ron Hornaday. And it's allowing the 18 truck of Bobby Hamilton to get away. Bill Lester's going to move into 3rd. These guys are trading paint. Oh my goodness. 1 second off the race lead. Gotta regroup. It took me a couple laps to get back into rhythm again. These guys are aggressive. Everybody's so desperate to lead as many laps as they possibly can. I mean, all 3 of the championship competitors have led. Bodine's led the most through the first 50, but Bobby Hamilton looking to set sail now. This is going to be the first to get into lap traffic. Putting the 117 truck a lap down, 200 still to go. A lot of racing left. Boss Brody, thanks for tuning in. New NASCAR Heat 5 update going to be on Xbox? I have no clue. I am not a gaming insider whatsoever. I don't really keep up with much news when it comes to those games. I don't even have NASCAR Heat 5 anymore either, so I don't really pay any attention to it. Even like updates of NASCAR 21 Ignition, I wouldn't even be able to tell you, but definitely for that, I would have no info on it. So I'm sure you could find something from maybe some other NASCAR YouTubers. Maybe they've mentioned something in a video or two recently that might have a better in-depth analysis on that. Yeah, 3 wet at Martinsville did not work there. Bodine was trying to use the lap truck as a pick, but he couldn't get to the 18 inside quick enough. And Bodine definitely lost a little bit of ground. Tell you what, of the 3 that need to lead the most laps, you would probably think it's Bobby Hamilton being 83 out of first. He's by no means out of the race for the championship, but needs to close in to have a better chance at it going into the season finale at Talladega in just a couple of races. No, Haley Deegan's not. This is well before Haley Deegan. Yeah, this game was made in 2006, so she probably would have only been like, I don't know how old she is now. Is she like 21, 22? She's a couple years younger than me, I think. Probably would have only been like 5 or 6 years old, if that. Another big bounce off the curb. The truck has gotten much looser after a lot of the contact made with Hornaday and Hamilton about a dozen laps or more ago. Bobby Hamilton got out to a decent lead, 1 second, but it's taken quite a bit for Bodine to try to run him back down again. It's how equal these cars are. Trucks, I should say. True Assassin 86X, thanks for tuning in. Bodine underneath of Hamilton. Off the curb goes Bodine, but he didn't make contact with the 18. The 18 not giving Todd Bodine a lot of room. This time we'll give him slightly more room. The 110 truck kind of clipped the curb, got sideways in front of the leaders. Speaking of getting sideways, Todd Bodine got sideways that time after getting off the exit of turn 4. Second time he's gotten off the exit corner so poorly, he clipped the inside wall, once on each end of the track now. Locking the left side tires up a little bit as he dives into turns 3 and 4, and he'll be clear for the race lead this time off the corner. So Todd Bodine back to the point. Hamilton led for a little bit there. Almost 20 laps, really, it took for Bodine to catch back up to the 18, maybe a little more than 20 laps. And Hamilton's still trying to keep the outside, even though Bodine, a lot wider line in the middle of the corner. I guess Bill Lester's not that far behind. I thought he actually fell back, but I just wasn't really looking out of the rear view much. We'll see if Hamilton moves down. Lester starts to close. Yep. That's exactly what happened. The problem is he overdrove the corner trying to get back down to the bottom. Now he's back in the dirty air behind the 30 truck again. '21, yeah, so she would have not been very old when this game came out. I mean, I would have been like 7. 6 or 7, depending on what time of the year it came out. So she would have been like 4 or 5, depending on the time of the year. Bill Lester back into second. Crossover move the next corner, though, for Bobby Hamilton. Looking for a clean one because Lester made a clean pass on him. And he's not in the running for the championship like these other guys are, so he might not be as aggressive this early to get to the front. He could still finish as high as 4th in the standings at the pace he's going at. But had a couple of DNFs due to engine failures in the middle going of the season that has derailed the season for Lester. Hamilton all over the inside of Bill Lester. There was a slight mistake there by Bodine that kind of held Lester up as he had to check out of the gas off turn 4 to the 30 truck straight the outside wall. Back and forth go the 22 and the 18, but the 30 is not pulling away. We saw the long run kind of deteriorate the speed of Jimmy Johnson's car at IRP last night on the initial start of the race until the adjustment changes were made in the middle going. Pacing to make this a one-stop race today. We're looking like we can go just over 140 laps on a full tank of fuel. So a one-stop race is all this race is going to be. And once we get to about lap 110, the fuel window will open to be able to make it to the end. But again, these guys are going to try to go as far as they can, obviously, because you don't want to make a green flag pit stop here, especially with the championship on the line if you're the 3 competitors for the championship. If you have a terrible finish outside the top 20, you're probably going to lose the title at this point in the season, so you have to be on your best. Got to be able to get in and out of pit road as efficiently and as quickly as possible. And right front's starting to go away just a little bit on this 30 truck. Todd Bodine. It's kind of interesting to see a lot of other drivers battling for this race, because in that first race at Martinsville this season, it was a 2-horse race the whole way between Hornaday and Bodine. They were clear the favorites of the race, but in this one it is a roulette wheel between not only Bodine and Hornaday again, which we kind of could have expected, but also with the 30, or sorry, rather the 18 and the 22 truck. Lester really hasn't came on into this one until about the last 30 laps or so, but he has shown some speed. He hasn't led yet, but he is right there if these other guys start to make more mistakes. As Bobby Hamilton did there as he got up into the wall after clipping the curb in the center of 1 and 2. Lester back into second with a clean pass. Lester slides up in front of him to make sure he's going to be clear. It's going to hold Hamilton up, and now Hornaday looking for third. Lester to the outside. This could cost him a spot. We've seen Hamilton try to do that a couple different times, and he wasn't able to do it. One time he lost second as a result. That might be the case here for Bill Lester, and it is, as Hamilton's back in the second one. Lap 80 at the line. Will he use the bumper to the 30? He is all over the back bumper. He doesn't use it, though. Does not use the chrome horn that time. But he definitely could have if he really wanted to. I think he already getting 5 bonus points. Maybe he's a little less reluctant to try to get the lead already. Even though he's going to be going for bonus points if he can lead the most laps. Bodine's just led so many already that it's going to be tough to drive away from him and lead that many laps if he gets back to the lead, because we know how equal these top competitors are with one another. Nobody's been able to drive away yet. Didn't hit the curb that time. It definitely went a lot wider in the center of the corner. Hamilton did the same thing, though, and here comes Hornaday. But he tried to use the bumper. He will not. He's going to try to go to the outside instead. But that is not going to work out for him. Yeah, she's still in the truck series. She just isn't in this game because I mentioned she would have only been 4 or 5 years old. Oh boy, a lot of contact there that time. Hamilton trying to go up the middle, and the contact between Hamilton and Bodine is going to allow Hornaday to potentially get to the lead. And it does. Hornaday out in front. He hasn't cleared Bodine because he was on the outside, but he did lead a lap. Bodine off the curb into the 33. And Hornaday holds on and clears to the bottom. Hit the curb, but still got a decent drive off of turn 4. Ron Hornaday out in front once again at Martinsville. So the 18 got in the way of the 30, allowed the 33 to get to the lead. Tried to stick it 3 wide in the middle when there was just no room to do it. Obviously at this racetrack. Go down with a good run off turn 2. Trying to hang on that left rear corner panel of the 33 of Hornaday. Into the corner. Look at Hornaday chattering those rear tires in the center of the corner. Good drive off on the top lane, though. You can't get that same drive off on the bottom. So it took an extra corner to be able to clear the 33. But he's back out in front off turn 2 again. It takes a few laps to really try to get back into a rhythm and pass a truck when you lose the race lead. We've seen that no matter who has taken the lead of these top 3, but we do know that nobody's been able to pull away. Hamilton got out to a 1-second lead at one point, and that was the largest lead for anybody in the race. And that was because there was so much contact made between the 30 and the 33 when they were battling for second. And the 18 initially took a lead earlier in the race. One truck has just pulled the pit road. I believe it was Aaron Crocker with an engine issue. Hornaday clipped the inside wall getting into turn 1 as he ran out of asphalt. That was even before the curbing came up. Knocked his truck a bit sideways, lost ground. Couple tenths back at the start-finish line that time by. But I believe that is Crocker out of the race. Almost 100 laps in already. Tell you what, caution-free at Martinsville, running half-mile short track and the race flies. We saw that with IRP only having 1 yellow in our Busch race last night. We're seeing that already here tonight at Martinsville as well with no cautions to this point. Wow, Hornaday really good that last corner. I mean, you want to be leading coming to the last lap, but knowing how close these guys have gotten to the back bumper of Bodine, using it multiple occasions to get to the lead, you got to be worried if you're Todd Bodine, if it's this close to the late going, that you could get used up. And in the case where Hornaday could win, he could close in significantly. I mean, he could basically just cut the points lead in half with a win versus Bodine finishing second in this race. Hornaday wide into the wall off turn 2. Hamilton to second. Hamilton going for the lead as he's trying to move the 30 out of the way. Oh, he moved him big time up into the wall. Both trucks go. Bodine is going to be able to lead. That was an aggressive move that did not pan out. And in the case for Bobby Hamilton, he's going to lose a few positions. I mean, he was hanging on that left rear corner panel all the way through the corner. And then by the exit, he just kind of squeezed Bodine up into the wall. And I think he fell back to 5th. Maybe even further back than that. And no, I do believe he is in 5th still. Actually, 4th place. I thought for a second he was at least in 5th. He is in 4th. And I don't know how, but Todd Bodine was able to hang on to the lead. I think they all checked up behind, expecting an accident there. And the wall pretty much straightened everybody out. The 18 and the 30 obviously included. Really the only two that made contact with that whole transition. don't know what he was so mad about. I guess he just got tired of riding in second. He's like, alright, that's it. I'm moving you. And it only hurt him more than it hurt Bodine, because Bodine's still leading. I don't like the way that they're damaging that left rear corner panel, because that's the same spot of the race truck that Bodine's been moved on multiple occasions now. And that was a lot more vicious, obviously, of contact than what we had seen earlier in this race. And that's only going to make that left rear softer and softer and softer, which is going to be even worse for Bodine to be able to try to make it to the end. The good news is this isn't a cup race. It's 500 laps at Martinsville. It's a truck race that's only 250, but around 125 miles. Tell you what, if you like Rubbins Racing, you came to the right place at the right time on a Wednesday night. So we're getting a lot of it at the Paperclip at Martinsville Speedway this evening. We still have over half a race to go. Hornaday just hasn't been able to get quite as close as the 18 for a longer period of time. Although he might this time, because Bodine clipped the curb pretty aggressively. Todd running down towards the bottom. Here comes Hornaday, but he overdrives the corner. May have got hit from behind by Bill Lester. It was tough to tell for sure. Lester might have used the bumper on Hornaday, which knocked him up the racetrack. Mr. Fax, thanks for tuning in.
Number 22, look at the tag.
What time's the update for Heat 5 tomorrow? Yeah, see, I've gotten questions with the update of Heat 5 again. I don't know anything about, like, NASCAR gaming on, like, the inside media stuff, and the media side of it. When it comes to, like, when they're having updates, what they're for, I pay zero attention to it. A lot of the times, even with like Ignition, I won't even know there's an update until I go to play it the next time for the channel. I'm really like, oh, there's an update. Well, I guess the stream is starting 5 minutes late. Like, I really don't pay attention to it. So I don't have anything for you. I apologize for that. I feel like a lot of those updates are usually in the morning, aren't they? Is it like transition, like at midnight you can update it? Or am I wrong on that? Especially like with it being online. Scrape into the wall there for Todd Bodine, but he's able to hold on to the lead. Barely. I'd say even Lester's put more pressure on Bodine than what Ron Hornaday was the entire time Hornaday was in second, most recently. Slight contact there between Lester and Bodine. A lot of clean air in front of Todd right now. There's some lap traffic there for a little bit. And then everything just got so bunched together. We haven't seen anybody make any green flag stops. That pit window's able to be open to make it on field to the end for now. But again, everybody is going as far as they can, not wanting to make a green flag pit stop on a half-mile short track. You'll lose not just one, but more than likely 2 laps no matter where you're at in the running order, if you were to pit under green. So if the caution came out in a short race, especially like this, no matter who you are or how fast of a race truck you have, it's a death sentence in trying to get back on the lead lap. and getting a good finish. If Bill Lester completes his pass on the outside, and he does, I don't know if he's clear or not. He was close to clearing. He might have had a chance to move down, but Bodine clipped the curb. Bodine did again, though, through turns 3 and 4. What a dog. Bill Lester whipping around the outside of Todd Bodine to take his first lead of the race the hard way. Now he's trying to block. Bodine trying to get back to the lead because he needs bonus points. He's going to race him clean, though, because the 22 passed him about as clean as you can at Martinsville. Chopped off quite a bit there going into the corner. It was an aggressive line, though, getting in by Ty, but it was a clearance that was clear, and there was no contact made. Great run, and Bodine actually led that lap at the line. Contact between the two trucks. That really stalled the 30 out off turn 2. Evan Stevens, thanks for the $2 super chat. I'll read that as soon as I get a chance. It's going to be difficult at this track, but I appreciate that. Thanks for tuning back in, of course, as well. Will I play the update? I don't plan on it. I don't even have NASCAR E5 anymore, honestly. Ted Musgrave's in the pits. And maybe a scheduled stop because it looks like there's some other trucks on pit road right now as well. So green flag pit stops are opening up just before the halfway point in this race. Drivers playing a little risky. Thinking this could go green at least long enough to get to the end of the run. We are still caution free. Bodine cannot get by Lester. Well, that's your first super chat too. According to the notification I got. So that could be wrong. That is not on me, if it is. But again, appreciate that. Oh my goodness, Lester coming to a stop off of the exit of the corner. And that's because he was trying to pit while everybody else was coming out. Now allowed for the 18 and the 33 to catch back up again. Bodine back to the lead for now. But each of the championship competitors are still out on the track. Oh my goodness. I don't like how they're stopping. Lap traffic holding up Bodine. Might lose the lead. A lot of contact there with Bobby Hamilton. Barely holding on to the lead. More contact into the next corner. And Bobby Hamilton back to the lead. Halfway next time by. Hornaday pitted, by the way, a lap or two ago. So if we cycle all the way through green flag pit stops, there's a very good chance he could be the leader. Been a while, but never gets old. Yeah, that is true. That is very true. And I always appreciate everybody that tunes in to watch these races. Oh, new leader off turn 2. Clean pass for Bodine on Hamilton. Hamilton with the crossover into the next corner. He slowed up because of lap trucks. Bodine timed it out perfect. Lot of contact that time. Tell you what, there's going to be some tempers flaring here before long. They make more and more contact. However, the 18 did ride the 30 up into the wall for really no apparent reason earlier when he was trying to battle for the lead. Bodine will get around him as Hamilton will pit this time. So Hornaday was the first to pit of the championship competitors for third. That was right before Hamilton took the lead. If caution came out and trapped him multiple laps down, that'd be huge for Todd Bodine, but I don't know that Bodine's going to want to go too much longer. Maybe a couple more laps at the most. He's got a full lap lead. Everybody on the lead lap's already pit. he could go about 140 laps on a full tank of fuel, but he's not going to stretch it that far. Already passed halfway through the race. I don't think 140 lap tires versus like 120 lap tires is going to make really much of a difference by the end of this race if it did go green. GC1424, thanks for tuning in. I just don't have my laptop at a good angle for the face cam to be up. I don't have anything mounted in front of me like I did with my old setup at the time, so that's why I don't have the face cam up. I'm not sure exactly how I want to do that, but I'll try to figure something out as soon as I can. I don't have a desk anywhere near where my TV's mounted in my apartment. So Bodine will pit this time by and we will see where he'll cycle. It'll be a green flag pit stop for the race leader. He is coming in. No speeding penalty, perfect pit road entry, no adjustments, 4 tires and fuel for Todd Bodine. Patrick Chatterley, thanks for tuning in. A little late, I blame work. First super chat, yep, so okay, YouTube was right on that. Not a car, awesome, man. Appreciate that. Clean stop so far, but Bodine was the last to pit of any driver, especially those championship competitors. 18.8 second stop. There goes Hamilton. Hornaday Hans Good is out in front as well. Bill Lester is actually the leader, and by kind of a wide margin, so in an extremely fast stop. He might have been the first car to pit road even before Hornaday pitted. Bill Lester is out in front at Martinsville. Todd Bodine is back in 10th with how late he pitted there. I mean, he was on 130 lap old tires when these guys were on relatively fresh tires. We started seeing pit stops right around lap 122, I think was the first lap I saw drivers pitting, so. Bodine out on over 100 lap old tires for about 14 laps. Definitely made a difference. And he'll have time to get back up there. We know he's got one of the fastest trucks in the field. The problem is Bill Lester is really fast as well. Contact. Bodine trying to be really aggressive here. Doesn't want to tick too many people off with a couple races left still, but he needs to go. He's on the move. Quickly back into 8th. Be nice if I stopped hitting the curb. That would help me out a ton too. Passed a couple trucks, but still 6.5 off the lead. So that hasn't really changed. First 6 laps on these tires. Corey Freight, thanks for tuning in. Todd Bodine. Is that Italian? Is it Bodini or Bodini? Bodini sounds better. We'll take our first field pass here, and we will swap to Ted Musgrave. I think he's still on the lead lap, but he is at the tail end of it. A surprise, considering we haven't had a caution in this race at all tonight, that we still have as many trucks on the lead lap as we do, even through green flag pit stops. It's actually really impressive. Oh, jeez. into that lead really at all. Lester's going to have a good chance of leading the most laps if he can lead all the way to the finish, too. Because we have just over 100 to go still. It's a good thing this is a 250 lap race, not 200 laps. Bodine looking low, couldn't make a move on Hornaday there. They look to do so this time on the backstretch into turn 3. Hornaday going to give the 30 a lot more room. Bodine up to 7. That was an 8-point swing right there. And changing the position, Hornaday definitely lost a lot of time on pit road, especially when you consider the fact he was one of the first into the pits of the leaders. Hans Good going wide. See how loose he got in the center of the corner as well. Easy pass for Ty Bodine to get to 6th.
Number 18 is going for the block.
Streams are part of a balanced breakfast.
The 18 car is getting in your way.
There's a lot of protein in these streams. Good finish could make it more like a dessert sometimes. Oh my goodness, he's gonna be ticked after that. I mean, I did not mean to get into him. Not in that spot. If I really wanted to get into him, I would have gotten into him on entry, not all the way off the exit like that. That bogged me down so much, so did that. Hans Good just drove around us on the outside because I had no business getting my left side tires above that curb that last corner. I can't keep making these mistakes and expecting to catch Bill Lester. I mean, the minute I start to get a little bit of ground, I catch a truck in the wrong spot. I get knocked out of rhythm because of my own driving, and then end up losing the position like I did right there. Just more time on the leader, as well as that other spot. Should have given me a little bit more room there, but to reach his own. Hornaday got by Hans Good after the contact as well. Just not what Todd Bodine would have wanted to see. Didn't want that 33 truck to gain any more positions than he already got.
Number 18 is going to do all he can to keep you back there.
I'm sure he is. Yeah, I can't mess around with him too much. I gotta go. He's gonna mess around with me though. Just added a little insult to injury there. He's gonna hit me. That's not bad. Okay, that was bad. That was bad. Okay, we saved it. That was definitely bad. He tried to wreck me. If he would have hit me in the corner panel, it would have turned me. He tried to chase Elliott me. It's not a short track though, so it was more like a Carson Hosa bar, but unlike those two, he did it unsuccessfully. Oh, jeez. Just looking at the chat there. I drove up into the wall. This is for 4th. A lot of contact with Claiborne. I mean, you get underneath the truck and then they hug you so tightly to that curb, and all you have to do is clip the curb just a little bit, and you make contact with them, and then once you make contact with them, you can't get off of them until you get to the exit of the corner. most of the time they end up becoming rivals. Fortunately for ourselves, Bobby Hamilton and Ron Hornaday are rivals and they're racing us for the championship, so that's not good. I guess when you're running up front with the same guys every race, you're bound to have that happen from time to time. Look at Ross Chastain. I mean, he's a perfect example of it. That was a spot. See, with these fantasy drivers, I don't know who's for position, who isn't for the most part. We're still 6 seconds off the lead, but we're up to third. Just tells you how much Bill Lester's really driven away from the rest of the trucks in the field since the green flag pit stops. We still have a lot of race left, and that pass on the 107 truck was for second. So, I mean, one caution, we're right there, obviously. But now that we're not having to deal with these other trucks for position anymore, hopefully we can start to eat away at Lester's lead if it does go caution-free tonight. Got 18 likes on the stream. Our goal tonight is to beat 25, which is what we had last night. So hopefully you guys hit that like button. If you haven't yet, we still have a little bit over 80 to go. Some good racing. Good old short track racing. Yikes. That looked gaudy. That was not pretty. When you cook the inside hole like that, that don't look good. Okay, he gave me room and I just missed the corner. I apologize to Craig Kinzer. He didn't deserve that. He was trying to stay out of the way. He's probably the most patient with me. Now he won't be next time. And he doesn't have to be, and I completely understand. Hopefully I remember that, because otherwise I probably won't. And next time the Craftsman can be like, what the hell? It's going to be a crucial point in the race. I'm going to completely forget that transition that we just had a couple laps ago. Man, this rate, it might take me the whole race to get back to Bill Lester. I mean, he is way ahead. We're closing in on him since we got to second, but barely. Probably just getting through the lap traffic quicker than us. Us making contact with every truck we pass isn't really helping our case. A tenth quicker that last lap. There's enough laps left that'll work. I got a little bit more clean air now after passing this lap truck. 1.7 back. We were much faster that last lap. Just that one corner, having nobody around us, that really helped. It's hard to have that at a track like this and this long of a green flag run. 153 got loose. He almost ended up in the inside wall. That's what I did earlier. Like 30 laps in. I'll be to pass one truck easily. The next one, maybe not so much. Using our teammate as a pick. Got by him, now we're under Musgrave. Get by him, 131's going to stay wide, it appears. Hit the curb, still going to drive by him. Alright, now we've got a lot of clear. Like the front tires down a little bit. It's alright, I wanted to make sure I had them cleared. This is where we start to eat into that lead. I think before I catch the next truck, this will probably be a pretty good time to get that second and final field pass out of the way today as well.
Keep digging. We need to pick up about 3 seconds on the leader.
Go through this first. Well, I don't have anybody around me, so I don't enhance the likelihood of making a mistake. We're down to just 74 laps to go already. We haven't had any caution, so in real time, considering I did qualify at the very start of the stream, we are barely under an hour into this race. We've ran almost 200 laps of Martinsville. This thing is going by in the blink of an eye. Back of another lap truck. Trying to find a way to get around him. He is holding us up just a little bit. Giving Bodine a clearance to try to make a move right now. Got a run on him there. I just didn't get to the inside. Probably should have tried to make my move, or at least the setup to make the move. So, we got off the corner pretty well that time too. We'll try to make it down into 1 and 2. Yeah, we got held tightly. I didn't even hit the curb that time. I held my line. That was on him. I am not taking the blame for that one whatsoever. And nor should I. Alright, Eric Darnell just won a lap down, so we're the third truck behind the leader. A little over a second and a half is the difference. That battle for the most laps led is important, obviously, so the more Lester leads, the more of a chance he's going to have of trying to get the most laps led over Bodine. He's led a meaty portion of this race. We could have lapped 134, so he's led about 50 laps consecutively, plus the however many laps he led earlier in the race as well. Which wasn't many, but he did lead some. He's probably led close to 60 laps. Dang it. Hit that inside wall again.
Number 164 is moving up on your twist.
We'll take that final field pass with Ted Musgrave in the number 9. We'll see where he's at. He is a lap down in 28th. We have about 65 laps to go, so it's exactly the same position we left him off at. And the first time we drove as him, he was on the lead lap. Not the case anymore. And in another lap, I don't think we're going to catch that next truck in front of him, and it may not even be a lap down truck for position anyways. The rough season continues for Ted Musgrave. I think he's only had like 3 or 4 top 10s on the season. It has not been a great year. When you consider your teammate is leading the points and has 5 wins, and you have like 4 top 10s, no wins, a lot less laps led, and I haven't really led that many laps this season. That was a big mistake. That time it seemed like the curb kind of grabbed and pulled me to the inside. Almost like 0.3 of a second with that last time. Oh my goodness, I was looking at the chat that time. Oh my gosh. I'll still catch him, but the longer it takes, the more laps he's going to lead, obviously, so. I mean, knowing the 18 to 33 have been in the top 10 all day, you know they're going to get some good points. They each led a lap. But it's going to be between the 30 and the 22 for the most laps led. And that's pretty safe to say. So we're down to just 59 laps to go. Lester wanting. Yeah, go to your local Checkers or rallies. If Bill Lester wins tonight. It's not like Cheddar's with Kyle Busch. You're not going to get a free meal out of it, but it'd be hilarious if you asked for a free meal because you watched some guy on YouTube. I didn't even win a race as just some guy on YouTube. Yeah, he happened to win a truck race today for NASCAR. Oh, really? Wait, we had no clue that this was an endorsement deal that we had going on with NASCAR. It's like, oh yeah, it's on the video game NASCAR 07, EA Sports. They just go right along with it. Okay, well, yep, have whatever you want. If somebody actually did that tomorrow morning, that would be hilarious. Or whatever time they open. Guess they probably would be open in the morning. I guess it could be like a late morning start. I feel like a lot of those fast food chains that don't serve breakfast are always open at like 10 a.m. for some reason. Who wants a cheeseburger at like 10 o'clock in the morning? Like, I like cheeseburgers as much as the next guy, but 10 o'clock in the morning, it's a little early. Just saying. Yeah, EA Sports, it's in the game. I can see that conversation. Yeah, from EA Sports, it's in the game, it's in the game. It's in the game. Well, meanwhile, while that was going on, Todd Bodine is just taking the race lead away from Bill Lester. As we have 53 to go now and counting down. Not sure who has led the most laps at this point between these two trucks at the front of the field. Need this to stay green as long as possible because it's going to be less likely that Hornaday and Bodine can get through traffic to try to catch these guys. And if we have a restart, you may be more likely to try to make a move. We have quite a few trucks a lap down too, so having the lap trucks on the inside of the restart is not going to be fun, especially if this comes late in the race. But we are 200 laps into this one, no yellow. 22 likes on the stream, by the way, right now. We're only 3 away from matching our goal. And for breaking it, we're 4 likes away, so be sure to hit that like button if you guys have not done so yet. We've got 50 laps to go. 50 to go. Well, Lester got the wall off turn 2. He completely got back to the gas way too soon that time, and Todd Bodine has probably his biggest lead of the race. 0.7 of a second. That's not saying much, but he still had a good race truck. Usually want a cheeseburger at 10 a.m. There's a difference between craving and wanting one and actually eating one at 10 a.m. I mean, I guess if you work second shift, that is the only explanation. I feel like the right explanation. It's like if you work second shift and that's kind of like your dinner time every day, okay, I can see that. You don't want to get off your sleep schedule, I completely understand that. But just like waking up at 10 o'clock in the morning, like I can go for a cheeseburger right now, that's just, that seems a little odd to me. I've seen people eat pizza for breakfast though too, so I guess that's kind of like falling into a similar category. I think Lester got the wall again off turn 2. He is just a little tight on the exit of the corner. Either that or he is just mashing the throttle way too soon. Maybe a little bit of both. Have to start compensating a little more if he's going to want to stay in contention here. We're down to just 45 laps to go at Martinsville, although the lap traffic now ahead of Bodine has gotten a lot more dense in recent laps. So he's stuck behind a truck right now that he can't get around. He gets into the back of him saying, hey, I got to get going. You're holding me up. But that did nothing but slow Bodine down. And here comes Lester. This lap traffic's going to have to let Bodine go, or we're going to Be in danger of losing that lead again. That mistake is not going to help. That only hindered things worse because we had him too. We had him passed until I made that mistake. 11-7. Yeah, okay, so that makes sense. Okay, I can comply with that. That makes sense. Because at first I was a little hesitant. I'm like, so you're just saying you just wake up and go for a cheeseburger? Like, I usually eat like a natural breakfast. Like, I've been on a bagel and cream cheese binge in the morning lately. Unless they're in the wall again. Burback, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to do a custom schedule. NASCAR Heat 5 Next Gen. No, I don't plan on. I'm actually technically doing one with the Next Gen cars on NASCAR 21 on the 22 season expansion mode. And I do plan on going back to that, trust me. It's just debating on when I want to go back to it. Because I know how terrible that game is, and I think my next race is the Coca-Cola 600. So of all races to go back, it's going to be the longest one. And so I'm like really trying to like drag that out, because I really don't want to do that race. For content purposes, it may be fun for some people. I can tell you one guy it's not going to be fun for. This guy right here. You can't see me pointing at him, mainly because both hands are on the controller. I'm not actually pointing at myself, but in my head I am. I do not want to do that race. So if you've wondered why I have not done a NASCAR 22 Coke 600 stream yet over the last like 2.5 to 3 months, that would be why. I think the last time I tried to do something like that on that game, it glitched out with like 20 to go, and I was utterly pissed off. I think I wrecked, and then the game crashed. I was like, you've got to be joking me. And I sat down for like 3.5 hours for no reason. For no reason other than the small monetary gain that I ended up getting from that stream that night. That was the only thing that was... And it wasn't even like it was enough by any means to like make up for it either. I would have wished that would have rather had slipped and fallen and cracked my head open than to have what had happened there. I think that actually would have been better, because I might have actually forgotten about the excruciating pain it was that night that had happened. That if something like, you know, slipping, cracking, and breaking my head open, I think that might have actually been better for me. I would have been better off. Lester got to the inside of Bodine a couple laps ago, just couldn't quite get the hammer down to the bottom lane that Bodine did, and he couldn't stay underneath him. To the inside of Craig Kinzer, hit the curb. I almost got into him again. That would have been the second time he gave me room, and I ended up making contact. Oh, that time I hit the curb. I don't think I did the first time. Oh, jeez, I just did it again. I am so sorry, Craig Kinzer. But I greatly appreciate your patience. A lot of people would have a lack of that in this situation, I feel like, in this game, and you're not one of them. Vote not returning to NASCAR 22, it's too painful. I do want to finish it. I do think, I mean, there is some hilarity in that looking back on it. Like, all joking aside, it is, like, we've had some of our funnier moments on the channel from that game just because of how ridiculous that game gets. And for all the bad reasons. By no means is it a good reason more often than not. My most viewed video is from that game because a car caught on fire. And I had not seen that on that game prior or really since then. I still don't know how that happened. I was having a glitch when I first got the game where, for whatever reason, it was almost like the throttle button would stick, but it wasn't actually stuck. And because you were on a super speedway, the speeds are restricted, so you can't like continue to accelerate. But I was going like 230, 240, and then my engine would spontaneously combust into flames, both interior and exterior, and then the game would crash. And that is exactly what happened. I was trying to demonstrate it, only for it to be an even bigger fire than what I had any time prior to that. And it happened to be while I was filming it, so that worked out for itself, and will now live for infamy on YouTube. .25 laps to go for Todd Bodine over Bill Lester. 0.4 of a second is the margin between these two. Bodine clipping the curb that time through 1 and 2. Lester gains a bit of ground. He hasn't really put a lot of pressure on this 30 truck for the most part since Bodine took the lead with about 54 laps to go. And there you go, the next corner, Lester goes wide. And I'd say Lester's definitely made way more mistakes than Bodine since Bodine got back to the lead here. It is pretty much a two-horse race, and these guys were 6 seconds ahead of the next closest truck. Bodine initially got the second. It may not be the case anymore, but it is still a pretty wide margin. Unless these two really get tangled with one another on a consistent basis, I don't see anybody catching back up in these closing laps. Not without a caution, which, again, we have not seen today. And this would, I believe, be the 4th caution-free race of this Truck Series season, and it'll be the second on a 100% race. I think we had one caution-free Busch race. We have not had a caution-free Cup race yet in this game. So we've had a lot less Cup races, and also less Busch races on truck, but still. For it to be at Martinsville, it's actually pretty impressive. I know the speeds are slower, but we've seen a lot of contact with a lot of different drivers in this race. Lester again making a mistake off of turn 4 this time. I think the last 2 times he got into the wall, it was off of turn 2. He didn't hit the wall that time, but he definitely clipped the curb in a bad spot, went up the track, and it just seems like when he hits the curb, it's a lot more violent than when Bodine's hitting the curb recently. There were no adjustments made to this truck during that pit stop, so I think just not having as much pressure and just having more laps under my belt, feeling just more comfortable at lap 230 than what I was feeling at lap 30 with the handling. Now that we've been in this situation before, it's a lot easier to get rid of them. I mean, we just ran our fastest lap of the day. At 18.714, that was a little over 1/10 of a second faster than the pole lap I ran in qualifying. And to do that in the back half of a tire stint is even more impressive when you consider the fact that we've had these tires for almost 100 laps. And we just ran another quickest lap. That time it was an 18.6, I think. We had an 18.6 for the first time. That was like 400s quicker than the previous lap. So out of nowhere, we just ran our 2 fastest laps of the race, but Lester's right there. Not letting Todd Bodine completely get away, so it just goes to show the speed in the 22. Another 18.690 that time. 3 of the 4 fastest laps of the race for Bodine have been in 3 of the last 4 laps. And that is going to make it extremely tough for this 22 to make a pass for the win. He's going to have to use the bumper. We haven't seen him use the bumper on Bodine all day. Another quickest lap for Todd. Lester's going to have to earn this one. By the way, a little while ago, Todd Bodine had clinched the most laps led in this race, giving himself 10 bonus points in the 3rd to last race of the season. Off the curb goes Bodine. Lester drove it in deep. Bodine saw that late and entered pretty flat as well into the corner. He went wide the corner before that, allowed Lester to creep in a little bit. And now a lap truck may be getting in the way of Lester off of turn 4. Lester needs to get to the bottom quickly into 1 and 2, and he does. Couldn't allow himself to get held up too long, running out of laps. And more lap traffic now in front of the 30. Another quickest lap, 18.632. It's just amazing how we picked up this late in the race on this old of tires out of seemingly nowhere. And we still can't get away from him. Defensive line on the front stretch for Ty Bodine that time. Lester actually went to the outside a little bit. Probably because the 30 was running so low. Just trying to pick a different lane. Craig Kinzer just pulled the pit road, by the way. 10 laps remain at Martinsville. So the problem with Craig Kinzer late, having a DNF after being a couple laps down on track. Lap traffic in the way of race leader Todd Bodine with 9 laps to go. This truck needs to move. I don't want to have to move him. Because I'm scared I move him, I bog myself up and Lester gets by. So Bodine knows he's going to have to make a clean pass, and he does. Through turns 3 and 4, that's going to put a 1-lap truck buffer between the top 2 and 8 to go. Todd Bodine is 8 laps away from getting his 6th win of the Truck Series season, winning a third of the races ran so far through the year, 2 to go after this, and trying to extend the points lead over Ron Hornaday and Bobby Hamilton in a day where all 3 led a large majority of the first half of this race, but after the pit stops, it was between Lester and Bodine. Lester took a little longer getting by that lap truck. About a 4 to 5 car length difference now between the top 2. Bodine couldn't find the bottom getting into the corner that time, trying to diamond cut it. 6 to go. This is Phillips in the 191 truck that is in the way of Todd Bodine. Bodine going to get underneath the lap turn 2. Going to make the pass into 3 and 4. Oh, into the back of him that time. 5 to go. Lester tried to move him. And he'll pass him through 3 and 4, clear high. Had a chance to, I didn't do it. Off the curb, we're clear that time. No contact either, so that helped. Now it's Lester's turn. He needs to get by Phillips quickly. Keeping up with Todd Bodine. Scott Lagacy Jr. is now the last truck in the lead lap with 3 to go. I don't know if Bodine's going to even catch him. Lester could not get to the inside of Phillips that last corner. He's going to try it again. Phillips is kind of holding up Lester. Big bounce off the curb by Bodine, but Lester's having his own troubles trying to get by the 191. This is helping Bodine out a ton as we're coming to 2 laps to go. Lester finally gets by him, but he's going to be about 4 truck lengths behind. 0.8 of a second off the lead now. And that, if he's going to want a chance to get to the back bumper of Bodine, which he has not been able to do at all in this race, I don't think he's going to have much of a chance to either. Slight mishap there in that corner, but Bodine only lost about 1/10 of a second of that 0.8 of a second lead that last time by. The white flag is in the air, 1 lap to go. Lester's going to be too far back. He can't use the bumper, and Todd Bodine is going to get the race win here today at Martinsville. Max points stay in the 3rd to last race of the season to extend his points lead over Hornaday and Hamilton. The race he had to have, and he got it. Hamilton, who finished 3rd, and we'll find out where Hornaday finished here after the victory celebration. Already a much better burnout than what I had in the Busch race at IRP last night. I forgot how to do a burnout last night, and tonight it looks like I didn't even, it's like last night's burnout or lack thereof didn't actually happen. There might have been more on the game last night than tonight. We'll do a little Polish victory lap around this short track because we can. Let's go. Let's freaking go. That was the race we had to have. Hornaday finished in 6th, solid day, but not solid enough. Bodine led 151 of the 250 laps this evening. Bill Lester finishes in 2nd. Bobby Hamilton Sr. led 22 laps, finishing 3rd. Lester led the 2nd most with 67 laps led. Hans Good finishes 4th, and Wilson Eubanks rounds out the top 5. Hornaday started 2nd, led 10 laps, finished 6th. Clement finishing 7th. Spencer Claiborne 8th. Tucker 9th. And Jackson rounds out the top 10. We had only 15 trucks finish on the lead lap. Caution-free as well at Martinsville of all tracks. Our 4th caution-free truck race of the season. 17 lead changes. 98.42 miles per hour average race speed. 6/10 of a second margin to victory. 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 9 seconds total time of tonight's race. Aaron Crocker, Stewart, Craig Kinzer, all blue engines, 3 DNFs today. And those were the 3 that did DNF. So we are getting closer. Don't forget to mute it. Yeah, I will not. I didn't last night, and I didn't today either. It is muted. Yep, W number 6 on the season. So our next race on both the Busch and the Truck Series seasons at California Speedway. Race 19 for the trucks, but the Busch Series, it'll be race number 9. And we have 2 races. We will have this Truck Series race at California for you guys tomorrow night on the channel. Not sure on the start time yet, so just kind of keep an eye on the community tab for that one. Again, not completely sure on the start time. Probably leaning towards 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, though. But I'm not entirely sure. I'll let you guys know middle of the afternoon again tomorrow. For the racetickets.com 200 at the California Speedway, we'll run our second to last truck race of the season. We will take a look at the Truck Series point standings going into that said race. And I'm sure it's going to be very, very tight. .54 lead over Ryan Hornaday, 103 over Bobby Hamilton. So we did extend that lead from 19 to 54. And we only gained 20 points on Bobby Hamilton tonight. I wish we could have gained a little bit more than that, but 20 points gained on him in this race, or pulled away from him. Bill Lester is 4th in the standings after finishing 2nd, leading some laps as well. He's pretty much going to finish no worse than 4th this year. I think he's already more than ahead of Eubanks, so he's locked into a top 4 finish. He's just kind of hoping that maybe there's a DNF by each of the top 3 in one of the next races, maybe 2 for Bodine if he's going to want a shot at the championship. So mathematically, we still have 4 drivers in the hunt, but it's pretty much looking like a 3-horse race right now with 2 to go. California, Talladega. We have not raced California in the Truck Series. Actually, I don't think we've raced at California in any series in this game, now that I think about it. Unless we raced there in the Busch Series. I don't think we have. So that could be interesting. I know we raced at Michigan in the Busch Series, but I don't think we raced at California. And we also raced at Michigan in the trucks. Haven't done so in the Cup yet. But yeah, first trip to California on this game on the channel. And then Talladega we've raced at already, I think, in all except for the Cup Series so far. And we might have even done it in the Cup, but I don't think so. I think just the Busch and the Truck Series. In that first Talladega race, we finished in 4th. Led 13 laps. It's just I don't have a great track record on this game on the super speedways. And because this is the first Truck Series, or the NASCAR game, I guess, with the Truck Series being able to race at Talladega, it's probably another reason why I've never won at that racetrack yet, but we'll see. We'll see. In this series, I haven't won at least. But yeah, again, my EA Sports Super Speedway track record, not great. I will say Talladega is better than Daytona for me, but still, we've got our work cut out for ourselves. Appreciate the support that you guys have given me. Again, as usual, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I will see you guys tomorrow evening for that California truck race. Hope to see you there. Thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your Wednesday night.